Once upon a time, in the heart of a vast forest painted with every shade of green, there lived a curious boy in a small village. His name was Oliver, at 10 years old. With eyes sparkling with wonder, Oliver would rush to the forest at every chance, playing hide and seek among the trees, listening to the songs of birds, and imagining stories whispered by the wind. One crisp autumn day, as sunlight filtered through the leaves, Oliver spotted a glimmering stone on a narrow path. The stone was small enough to fit in his palm, but shone as if it held a star within. Its surface was smooth, shifting colors from blue to green to purple. Oliver examined it closely. "This can't be an ordinary stone," he murmured. He slipped it into his pocket, and as he walked home, he felt a faint warmth from it. That night, as he lay in bed, the stone crept into his dreams. He stood at the entrance of a cave, where tiny lights flickered in the depths, beckoning him. When he woke, his heart raced with excitement, finding this stone wasn't a coincidence. He said to himself. He gobbled down his breakfast and dashed back to the forest. The stone vibrated in his pocket like a compass. Guided by it, Oliver ventured deep into the woods, reaching a hill he'd never seen before. At its base was a stone door covered in moss, slightly ajar. Oliver hesitated for a moment, but curiosity outweighed any fear. Taking a deep breath, he pushed the door open and stepped inside. The cave was cool, dim, and mysterious. Crystals on the walls glowed like stars fallen to earth. Oliver felt this place was brimming with secrets, yet it wasn't frightening, only inviting. As he ventured deeper, Oliver noticed tiny footprints on the ground, smaller than a child's, as if a miniature creature had passed by. Who lives here? He wondered. The walls were adorned with glowing patterns illuminated by the crystal spirals, stars, and strange symbols. Oliver touched a crystal, and it quivered, emitting a soft blue light. Then, from a distance, he heard a rhythmic tapping, cheerful, like someone striking a stone with a tiny hammer. Oliver followed the sound, passing through a narrow tunnel until he reached a small door leading to a wide chamber. He eased the door open. Inside were tiny tables and chairs. As if from a dollhouse, on the tables lay sparkling stones, small tools, and half-finished crafts. A blue fire burned in the center of the room, smokeless and otherworldly. Oliver gazed in awe when a shadow stirred. His heart quickened, not from fear but from thrill. "Who's there?" he called. The shadow stepped forward, revealing a tiny dwarf with a silver beard and mischievous eyes. "Welcome, young human," the dwarf said cheerfully. His name was Chirp, for his voice was as lively as a cricket's song. Chirp approached slowly, not wanting to startle Oliver, and extended a hand. "What's your name, Stonefinder?" he asked. Oliver shook his hand with a smile and introduced himself. Chirp invited Oliver to the underground city. "But beware," he said, "this place is full of secrets." Oliver's eyes gleamed. Secrets were his kind of adventure. Chirp led Oliver through a tight tunnel to the underground city. At the tunnel's end, a burst of light greeted them, and Oliver found himself in a massive cavern. This was the dwarves' city, a vast valley lit by glowing crystals. Tiny houses were carved into the cavern walls, each decorated with colorful stones. Dwarves bustled about in the streets, singing and shaping stones. Oliver, enchanted, followed Chirp on a tour. They passed a workshop where dwarves crafted stones into intricate shapes, and a corner where a group played a merry tune on small instruments. But Oliver noticed a hint of worry in the dwarves' eyes. Chirp shared the city's secret. "The great crystal is lost. It's the heart of our city. Without it, our lights are fading." And the caverns grew dark. Oliver felt the stone in his pocket warm. Could this be it? He thought. But he wasn't sure. Chirp told him the legend of the great crystal, found centuries ago by the dwarves' ancestors. It carried not just light, but friendship and hope. One day, a mysterious wind had swept it away, and the dwarves had been searching for it ever since. Oliver felt the stone tremble in his pocket and made up his mind. "I'll help you," Chirp nodded with a smile. "This won't be an easy quest," he warned. Oliver felt a tingle of suspense, not fear, but the thrill of solving a puzzle. The next morning, Chirp introduced Oliver to a team. Zip, a swift and cheerful dwarf, and Sage, an old, wise dwarf. Together, they plunged into the tunnels, which twisted like a labyrinth, some narrow, some wide. Sage carried an ancient map on weathered leather, but it was incomplete. Oliver studied it, feeling the stone vibrate. "Maybe the stone will guide us," he suggested. As they trekked, they spotted glowing mushrooms emitting a soft light and edible. Zip plucked one and ate it, shouting, full of energy. Oliver tried one. It tasted sweet, like honey mixed with mint. At a turn, they found an ancient inscription on the wall in the dwarven tongue. Sage translated, "The great crystallizing, the light of the heart." Oliver pulled out his stone. It seemed to fit the description, but the stone suddenly quivered, guiding them to another tunnel. The path narrowed, the air cooled, and a faint hum echoed, like a distant machine. Oliver's pulse quickened with the excitement of the unknown. Chirp said, "This tunnel leads to the old mines. No one knows what we'll find." Oliver grinned. "Let's find out," he replied. The team pressed on, united dot at the tunnel's end. They met a river with crystal clear water, its surface dancing with tiny lights. A few wooden bridges spanned it, but one was broken. Zip dashed across and tossed a rope. Oliver grabbed it and crossed carefully. Beyond the river lay an underground garden filled with giant mushroom trees and glowing flowers. That hummed a soft melody. Oliver, mesmerized, noticed a shadow dart by. It was a silver-furred fox with clever eyes. "Greetings, travelers," the fox said. Oliver was startled by a talking fox, but intrigued. The fox smiled warmly and said, "The great crystal is hidden in the deep cave, but you must listen to your heart to find it." Oliver thanked the fox, and they continued. At night, they camped under the mushroom trees, with crystals shining like stars above. Oliver felt the stone's warmth and pondered the fox's words in his dreams. The adventure grew more mysterious with each step. When they reached the deep cave, a massive stone door blocked their way, carved with ancient symbols. Sage read a riddle. "What flows but never stops, speaks but has no voice." Oliver thought hard. Time. He answered. The door creaked open. Inside was a maze of chambers, each hiding a clue. In the first, they found a mirror that showed the past. Oliver saw the great crystal swept away by a gust of wind. In the second, a stone tablet bore a map to a hidden passage. Oliver followed it and found a concealed button on. All pressing it, the wall slid open, revealing a narrow, dark passage lit by crystals. Oliver felt a thrill of suspense, the excitement of the unknown. Chirp said, "You're brave, kid." The team crossed the passage, ready for what lay ahead. Beyond, the passage was a grand hall filled with towering statues of dwarf kings, their eyes made of crystals that seemed to watch. One statue held a key. Oliver took it and unlocked a door to a treasure room filled with gold, jewels, and shining stones, but no great crystal. Chirp's face fell, but Oliver stayed hopeful. "Let's keep going," he urged. They encountered a trap of spinning stones, but Zip zipped through and guided the others. They laughed As the trap was more fun than dangerous, Oliver felt the stone in his pocket pulse. "We're close," he thought. At the hall's end, another tunnel led deeper. The air grew warm as they entered a volcanic region. Lava rivers glowed, red and orange. But safe bridges protected them. Sage shared a legend. The great crystal calmed the volcano. Oliver felt his stone heat up, guiding them to a cave with a giant dragon statue. The statue seemed to come alive, but it was an illusion, offering a clue. The crystal lies in the heart. Oliver wondered if the crystal was more than a stone. Perhaps it was friendship and courage. The dwarves sang a song, lifting their spirits, and Oliver pressed on, listening to his heart. Past the volcanic region, they entered an underground forest of mushroom trees and singing flowers. Tiny animals screamed about. A rabbit approached and said, "The great crystal is on the island in the lake." Oliver thanked it, and they reached a lake with an island at its center. An old chest stood there, but it held only a note. "The true crystal is in friendship." Oliver smiled, thinking of his friends. The lights were dimming, raising the stakes, but their hope held strong. The stone in Oliver's pocket grew warmer. The solution felt near, on their way back. A slight tremor shook the ground, rolling stones, but harming no one. Sage knew the way, and they escaped swiftly. Back in the city, the dwarves awaited them. Oliver pulled out his stone, realizing it was the great crystal, but it was cracked. The dwarves held a ceremony, singing and dancing to mend it. The crystal glowed, and the city shone again. Yet the mystery wasn't over. The stone revealed a new quest, a forgotten tunnel. In the forgotten tunnel, ancient paintings told the dwarves' history. Oliver felt he saw himself in one. "Do I belong here?" he wondered. Chirp said, "You're our friend." At the tunnel's end, a puzzle required placing stones correctly. Oliver solved it, opening a door to a radiant chamber with another mirror, showing a future where the city glowed, and Oliver danced with the dwarves. From the mirror, they entered a garden where flowers sang, offering a clue. The crystal's power is in sharing. Oliver shared the stone with his friends, and it grew brighter. A gust of wind swept it away, but Zip caught it. They laughed, the tension melting into joy. The wind led them to a waterfall hiding a chamber filled with ancient books. Sage read one, revealing the great crystal secret. It symbolized friendship. Oliver understood and hugged his friends. The dwarves threw a party. But a sound interrupted a call from another dwarf city where lights were fading. Oliver and the team went to help, crossing bridges and tunnels in the new city. They were warmly welcomed. Oliver used the crystal, and the lights returned. The dwarves hailed him a hero. It was time to return home. Oliver would miss the underground. The dwarves gave him a small stone to connect them. He surfaced and hugged his family. He told them his tale, but no one believed him. Oliver smiled. The stone showed the dwarves in his dreams. One day, it warmed, and the cave door opened again. Oliver returned underground. The dwarves greeted him with a new mystery, a lost map leading to a treasure. They searched, solving puzzles and singing. They found the map, and the treasure was a statue of friendship. Everyone rejoiced. Oliver danced with the dwarves, dreaming of new adventures. When the adventure ended, Oliver said goodbye but promised, "I'll be back." The dwarves sang as he left. Above ground, playing in the forest, he felt the stone. The mystery was solved. But more adventures awaited. Back in the village, life resumed. But Oliver was changed. The stone always reminded him of the dwarves. He knew one day he'd return to the cave for a new quest, and so the story ended. But Oliver's heart remained filled with the light of the underground city.